What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Magic Show here in Vegas. We're at the Cage Fighter booth, and I'm standing with one of the most legendary heavyweights in the history of mixed martial arts, Mark Coleman. What's going on, man?
Hanging out, having a good time, staying involved.
Yeah, you know, you've done so much in the sport. You fought in so many different organizations. You've been around since this thing was really... Oh, well,
UFC and Pride.
Yeah, but still the biggest ones, the legendary ones.
Like to keep it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, yeah, you're a loyal guy, and I think a lot of people need to remember that is that you've been around the UFC for a long time. You're in Pride for a long time. You fought you've just really been against some of the top guys in the sport. What's going on with you right now? Tell me what's happening. Tell me where you are. What's going on?
Well, it was a big disappointment when Pride went down because they were great to me. Put a lot of time in with them. But now hopefully I take advantage of it. I've always wanted back in the UFC. I want back in that cage. That's where I started, and I like the rules. I like the cage, the whole thing. So
yeah, you know, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is the difference in rules between being in the ring and being in the cage. You got soccer kicks in Pride. You don't have that in UFC. You have elbows in the UFC. No knees to the head. Those kind of things. You said you favor those rules, the UFC rules. Why do you favor those?
I just like the elbows on the ground. That's critical for me. It is a different sport. The different rules make it a completely different sport. So, for me, it would be to my advantage to be able to elbow somebody on the ground.
Ground and pound right here. You do not want to be under this with elbows dropping on your head. So Shogun and those other guys, you know, you might have got off lucky not being able to have those elbows thrown in your face, right?
Well, let's hope so. I'm gonna be throwing some elbows soon, hopefully. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you know what? The UFC blowing up. You've been part of this thing since, like I said, since early on. You've witnessed and been part of, might I add, the evolution and the explosion of this entire thing. How does it feel to be part of that?
Oh, it's great. I'm just excited to be a part of all this since the beginning, and I'm so happy the way it's blown up for everybody. All the fighters coming from a wrestling background did it for the love of the sport, but it sure would have been nice getting paid, and that's the most important. You got to pay the bills, take care of the kids, and that's.
Hopefully we're going to be able to see these guys take care of their own. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because in my opinion, Gracie was part of this UFC family. You're part of this UFC family. Fans that don't know, who are newer fans, you know, who are actually, to be honest with you, are a lot of these people that are watching this right now. You guys got to remember, and if you don't know, you better ask somebody, because Mark Coleman really is part of the beginning of the sport, part of the heart of this sport. You're here at the Cage Fighter booth here at Magic. These guys have been taking good care of you.
Cage Fighter MMA Authentics. My good friend of mine is the owner, started the company up. He's doing real well. Good, sweet-looking gear, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And nice guys, as a matter of fact. Good gear, great people. You said a buddy of yours is one of the guys behind it, right?
Yep. Good friend, Mike DeSalvador. Wrestled with him back at Ohio State, and he's in the retail business and trademarked MMA Authentics. Yeah. Smart man. And
so one of the things that I like to know about MMA gear is that a lot of times you might have a lawyer create some kind of clothing. You might have a guy that's in the food business, the culinary industry create. This is the real thing, right?
Well, he's got a lot of experience in it, and he knows. He's been following me for a long time, watching the fight game, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so Cage Fighter, MMA Authentics, this is the stuff that's coming to you from the heart of the game, the heart of the sport right now. You're not getting, some BS. This is the real thing. Mark, tell me about how bad you want to get back into the cage.
That's my goal. That's what I'm still working hard for, and I miss it. I miss the UFC. I miss the excitement, and I miss fighting in America. So
I remember in an interview that I read where you changed up your fighting. Was it before the Fedor fight? Maybe you started taking things a little more seriously, get your diet right?
Well, I have changed my diet as you get older. I'm trying to eat super clean. Spend a lot of time with my kids. They're my life. But it's time for me to get away. It's hard for me to leave them, but it's hard for me to train in Columbus, Ohio. So really, I need to get out of town and get some real training in. I'll be fine if I can put it in the right training camp.
Absolutely, and that's what's so important. Now, during the fight with Shogun out there, you slammed him on the mat. took his shoulder out, won that fight, came here to the States, fought Fedor, ended up on the bad side of that fight, but that's not stopping you. You're still wanting to come back and make this thing happen. You're not out of the game.
No, I wasn't my good night. First time without the shoes, not to make an excuse, but it really did cause me some problems without the shoes on. So I'm getting used to it now. You haven't seen the last of me. I'm not done yet. Trust me.
Mark Coleman, legendary heavyweight here at Magic on the Ultimate Podcast. Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.